Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Sagittarius, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for Gemini season or June 2026. Whatever your timing paradigm is, I'm here for it. And I hope you are well. I'm using the 777 Bulgarian deck for you today because I just love it so much. It's outstanding. Anyway, before we get started, if the reading resonates with you and you would like to go a little bit deeper, there will be an extended that you can access at the end. That's via link in the description box below. The link that takes you to Selfie will take you to the extended for simply this video here. But if you want access to more of the extended content that I make, then you might consider coming and joining my private community, which is the Order of the Phoenix on the Circle platform. There you can get access to not only all of the extended content that I do for all of the signs every single month, but also the weekly energy readings that I do every week, and that they run between 45 and 60 minutes long, depending on how intense everything is. And also get the opportunity to participate in the Deccan Walk that we're doing over there, which really does appear to be changing lives at this point. I'm so glad that we're doing it. It's outstanding, and particularly in a year like 2026. If you join at the higher level, you can come participate in the live classes that I run over there and get access to all of the recordings for all of the classes that we have done in the last, I don't know, 16 months now, I think. So if that sounds like it might be of interest to you, you know what to do with those links. Links to book a reading with me are also down in the description, and the last link is to some of the classes that I've made available for sale. So if you can't commit to coming and joining community, but you'd like to hear what I have to say on a number of different tarot adjacent, shadow adjacent topics, there's a link down in the description box for that as well. So Sagittarius, let's have a little chat about what we're going to do here this morning. We're going to start off with the very first question, the most important question rather, that you can ask yourself in 2026, and that is simply, where am I right now? Not what am I afraid of, what's coming down the pike, nothing like that. Where am I right now? So we'll start with that. And then the second set of cards, rather inspired by the Deccan Walk actually, is revolving around what aspect of our thinking, our worldview, our belief structure, our belief systems is ripe for revision. The Gemini Decan absolutely, absolutely lends itself to consideration of that. And I can, you know, without fail, everybody's got something that's evolving in their thinking and worldview and belief systems this season, it seems. And then we'll finish up with the second most important question that you can ask yourself in 2026, which is, what is my next step? And it is simply that: where's the next place that I put my hoof down? That's all you need to worry about. Oh, it's referencing you being a centaur there, obviously. So I hope this is okay for you. This is what I've got for you. In the extended, we'll develop any themes that came up here and take it from there. So let's have a look and see where Sagittarius is right now, please. Right, well, we've got the devil in the upright. Okay. We've got the Two of Swords. Okie dokie. And we've got the King of Swords with the Nine of Swords on its side. Right, it's a bit sword heavy, this Sagittarius. Of course it is. We've got the Six of Swords at the bottom of the deck here. Everything's feeling a little bit stressful at the moment, might we say. I've just thought I haven't picked and we're going to go with the Triple Goddess. I haven't picked a clarifying deck. Right. Are we overthinking a little bit at the moment, Sagittarius, by any chance? Like, you're a fire sign, and fire and air go together really quite well, actually. The air tends to fan the flames of the fire, and this is why fire signs and air signs have quite a lot in common. But in its more negative expression, the fire can certainly fuel the the wind, the air, I don't know, of overthinking, and there seems to be an awful lot of this going on right now. And two of these cards, namely the Devil and the Two of Swords, feel like there's something approaching a kind of stuckness here. There's a kind of repetitive energy that I'm feeling here, and this is why I think it's overthinking. It seems like you're stuck in a loop of overthinking at the moment. That repetitive kind of feeling here is draining a lot of your mental energy, because You're not the only sign to have had this month. Not the overthinking specifically, but this idea of looping a little bit and not really understanding why you are looping. It's manifesting in different ways for the other signs that had this same quality to them. But the long and short of it is there is an awareness here that there's a conscious decision to be made. But what I'm feeling quite strongly is there being a sense of feeling a little bit flighty around the idea of the consequences of the decision that you have to make. And I don't know if it's because it's a big decision or whether it's a series of small decisions. And what it's asking you to do is to commit to one path moving forwards. And there's something that's making you feel a little bit skittish about it. I can see my ducks running around in my living room. Just to be clear, I have ducklings that I hatched out of an incubator that are currently living in my living room. And when I let them out of their brooder so that I can clean it twice a day, they love to run around screaming and be terrorists in my living room. But it's that kind of same skittish energy that I'm feeling here, because a King of Swords and Six of Swords combination feels like it is a commitment to move in a particular direction, certainly intellectually at least anyway, which means by necessity other options then close. And there's something about the prospect of that feels like you're being trapped. You're not actually trapped, but you're walking into a state where you will feel trapped, which means you're trying to keep as many options open as possible right now. And I'm not sure that that necessarily is the right way, because the thing that's underlying this, Sagittarius, is this is a desire to get the decision exactly right. And whether or not it is that you feel you don't quite have enough information yet to do that, because to some extent you do feel like you feel that you're in the dark as to what that might be. And yet the time frame is approaching where decisions need to be made one way or the other. Let me get some cards out here, some clarifiers. Tell me about this Devil card, please. The Devil is clarified by the Tower. Well, of course. Okay. And the Ten of Swords. Oh, fuck my life. Sagittarius. You know, like, I don't hear people talking very often about the Sagittarian capacity to overthink things, and I don't know why. Because in a mind that is able to conjure up so many possibilities and really engage with them, which is Sagittarius all over, there's got to be a downside to that somewhere. There has to be. And here it is. It's that overthinking, right, where we kind of latch onto the potential for catastrophe. And now everything's gone wrong, but we're committed and we have to go this way. You know, it doesn't feel like the Tower and the Ten of Swords are actually present in reality. Why? Because they're coming up under the Devil. And the Devil is an illusory energy right now, right? But it's the way in which the Devil works. It drains the psychic energy out of you by presenting you with probably not just one, but 50 worst case scenarios. And it is awareness of that and a lack of a clear path forward that is heaping the pressure on you, or rather you are heaping the pressure on yourself to make the right decision, not just the right decision, the perfect decision, so as to avoid the potential disaster that could be incoming that you've intuited is at least a possibility. Tell me about this Two of Swords, please. Oh, fuck. So, we have the Knight of Pentacles showing up here. Now, this is important because the Knight of Pentacles is probably the most frequent visitor to my table that I've had in this round of readings, in so much as it's the card that's shown up the most often. And this is significant because the South Node is sitting in the sign of Virgo right now. Knight of Pentacles is Virgo. And I've spoken to some of the other signs about this. I think it's really quite extraordinary. I have actually worked out this morning why it would be the case. God, it's fucking warm here already. It's morning and it's very, very warm. Anyway, the point is there seems to have been a huge resurgence in South Node energy, and we don't usually experience it like that, right? Normally, when the South Node first ingresses into a sign, we get a kind of peak experience of the vibe shift that represents, and then it dies off a little bit, and then there's generally like a peak experience right in the center, in the middle of the cycle. So we're about 9 months in at that point, right? Because the nodes take 18 months to travel through a sign or thereabouts. But generally then, the second half of that transit tends to be integrating, the lessons that the South, the things that the South Node is showing us that we need to balance, and kind of moving more towards this North Node energy, whatever it might be. In this case, it would be Pisces, right? And because that integration is off the back of what we've already worked out, it's not that it's seamless and it's not that it's not challenging, but at least we've got a sense of what it's all about and we can keep working on that, right? What we don't usually get, and we absolutely have in this round of readings, is a huge flare-up of South Node energy showing up literally just before it's getting ready to leave the sign that it's in. And yet this is what has happened for some reason in Gemini season. Now, I mentioned the Gemini decans, right, off the back of the decan walk that we're doing there. And to be clear, if you're not familiar with what that is or what that represents, a decan is a 10-degree arc of movement of the sun within a sign, such that you can split each zodiac sign into 3 parts, and they have a different quality. So, Leo 1 has a very different quality to Leo 2, and that's represented by the 5 of Wands and the 6 of Wands, respectively. In the case of the Gemini decans that we're in right now, it's represented in Gemini 1, 8 of Swords, Gemini 2, 9 of Swords, and Gemini 3, 10 of Swords. So we've got 2 of these on the table. And what the South Node seems to be doing in this surging up that it's doing right now is showing us where our thinking is not being our best friend. Maybe even our belief systems and our belief structures are not being our best friends. The South Node will highlight what needs to be released and what needs to be balanced, right? What is being thoroughly overdone at this point, and we don't need to carry moving forwards. So in your case, it does seem to rather revolve around this idea of not just the capacity for catastrophe, or catastrophization is probably a better way of putting it, which is something that Virgo does as well. But also this theme of perfectionism, through which Virgo is completely riddled. And it's bringing it up here to show you just how, to me at least anyway, just how depleting it can be when you allow your mind to go to all the places that it can go, right? If there's not a corresponding level of this could be absolutely fucking awesome, and to be fair, Sagittarius will be able to perceive that, generally speaking, in a good time, in a good year, at a good little pocket of life, Sagittarius is uniquely attuned to the idea that things could be fucking awesome beyond our wildest dreams. But there is a corresponding level the other way that Sagittarius can go to, and that seems to be what's happening here. And the 2 of Swords, which is effectively a blind spot that we have, a mental blind spot that we have, is in thinking that this is something that can't be controlled. Because you seem to be concerned about the lack of the right decision taking you into a place where you'll be trapped. Like I said, it feels like the removal of options is the trap. Even if the decision that you make may be the right one. Ooh, Sagittarius, really complex here. I'm going to weave in all this shit together. It's the removal of alternatives and the corresponding level of commitment then that you have demonstrated to this path that you have picked for yourself. That's not actually where the trap is. The trap, old Master of Illusion over here, is in this. And that's what I think the blind spot is for you. It's almost like you've misattributed where the restriction is, and you've assumed it's in the future, and so you're trying to kind of push that away as far as possible, push away the need to make the decision and therefore commit to one course of action or one whatever it is. But this is the devil pulling is pulling a fast one on you here, Sagittarius. He really is, because part of what is being undermined here by the devil energy is you being assertive and decisive in the moment, right? He's pulling the wool over your eyes. He's casting a fog over everything, going, "Ooh, only the perfect decision would be suitable in this. And if you are not capable of doing that, then everything could go wrong. Everything, everywhere, all at once will go wrong. And then what will you do? You're fucked." And it's undermining your own faith and trust, not only in yourself, but also in the universe. Now, I know that last season was a little bit rough for Sagittarians. I know enough Sagittarians to have got some feedback about the accuracy of what I was pulling out there. And it did rather feel like Sagittarians' faith had been kind of screwed up into a ball and thrown away. And I was really discombobulating. And there's a way in which this seems to follow on, in that it almost seems like a natural corollary of where you were last month, but it's being brought to a peak experience, not to upset you, not to make you feel less than or anything like that, but to show you where you are as subject to illusion as everybody else. And when that illusion is internal, which is what this seems to be, and I have to say, I don't get a sense of you sharing this widely or at all. It's almost like you feel like you are responsible for the decision here. It's not a group project. It's not a collaborative decision between you and a partner. This is something that you feel like you've taken responsibility for. And now it's kind of heaped up the responsibility because you are solely responsible for this. And the problem is, in the echo chamber of your own mind, completely oblivious to the fact that the devil is in here pulling strings, you've arrived at this place where it's like, I don't want to make that decision because I'll be trapped then. I'll be stuck then. Even if, and this is the interesting thing, even if it was the perfect decision and one has to question whether such a thing would even fucking exist in the first place, there's still something about the loss of options that represents that is bothering you. I have to say, I think this is a question of perception, Sagittarius. I don't think that this is reflected in reality. Why? Well, we've got the Nine of Swords showing up, and in this Bulgarian deck, the swords are positioned differently to the way that I would usually talk about them when, we see the Waite-Smith deck and whatnot. But the reading has neutralized the swords for us by having it show up sideways like that. Right? So it is clearly a matter of perception here, and the problem is that because you've tried to keep this to yourself, and because the thinking has got tighter and tighter and tighter, and maybe really drilled down to the right into the detail like we would expect with Virgo, it's now become a battle that you feel you can't win. Saggies, in the most loving way possible, your Leo homegirl here is just going to have to give you a little bit of a slap. From fire sign to fire sign. This is all a fucking Jedi mind trick that you're pulling on yourself. I'm absolutely fucking certain of it. Tell me about this Two of Swords. Hanged Man. Yeah. Well, this is confirming exactly what I said initially, which is that you're hanging off making decisions because I don't know. I need more information. Oh, it's just, you're telling yourself that that's what it is. That maybe you don't have enough information, or whatever. But actually, the reality is you just don't want to make the decision for fear of getting it wrong. You don't want to make the decision for fear of making the decision, which cuts out all possible options which currently exist, because it's all in a state of possibility, probability, and potential. But once you choose a thing, all of that potential disappears. But equally, it's not giving you an opportunity to look at the other side of the story. For some reason, you seem to be hyperfixating on what could go wrong, rather than looking at what is going right and has gone right up until this point. But again, I've just noticed that the devil is at the bottom of the deck here. But again, also all the ways in which things could go right, which seems to be your more natural position, or your more natural disposition, actually. But there's something about this that's really, really agitating you right now. So let's have a look at this King of Swords and Nine of Swords. Because, right, we've got the Lover's card on its side. Oh, bless you. Okay, right. Yeah. So, all of this has the hallmarks of, let's say, for example, like the kids... the kids in the room, there probably aren't any kids in the room, right? I'm talking about anybody probably pretty much under the age of 30. The kids in the room will never know what it is like to pick up your A to Z, or whatever the equivalent is in the States or wherever you're watching this, right? Your map book, and go, I need to go from this place here on page 43 to that place here on page 79 in the most efficient way possible. And you've got to sit and read that fucking map, work it all out. You have your fingers holding certain pages together. You have to go across like multiple areas. You're like, right, from here, this bit of the map joins up to this bit here, and then we go through here, and this is the way that we go. The kids won't understand that because, if you're under the age of 30, you've had access to free fucking satellite navigation maps, like, for your entire fucking life. And the interesting thing about that is that you tend to do these things on autopilot, right? You've got turn-by-turn navigation. You don't have to look for landmarks. You just follow. You just follow where the voice is telling you to go, where the sat-nav is telling you to go. Just now I'm over here, now I'm over here, now I'm over here. And then well done, you have arrived at your destination. Please rate our route for you, right? Do the thing. This Lover's card here makes me feel like you feel, having followed this inbuilt internal GPS system that you seem to have, right? Effortless, where you just, almost kind of zen navigate your way to wherever it is that you need to go, and that's not a fucking problem. Following the turn-by-turn navigation that seems to be, there built in for you as part of the Sagittarian experience. It's always like, oh shit, you dropped your phone. And you smashed the screen, and now you can't even get it to turn on, and now you have to drive somewhere a state away or 2 counties away. And you've done this trip so many fucking times. You should be able to do it in your head, but because you were on autopilot, because the turn-by-turn navigation was telling you where to go, it's like, I'm not sure I can do this. I'm not sure I can navigate 200 miles over there. But there's the illusion. There is the illusion, because you do actually know the way. You do know how to get to these places. And the problem is, the longer you think about it, the less inclined you are to take the journey. You're like, no, I'm going to end up in fucking Yorkshire when I'm trying to get to Cornwall. It's going to be dreadful. The whole thing's going to be horrible. Probably better that I just don't go at all. And the only way that you're going to get over this, I think, is by doing it. What do we have here? I just, I just wanted to leave that card there until I'd said what I was going to fucking say. Now, the reason that I brought all of this up in the first instance was because the Lovers card is a card of conscious co-creation, right? It's a feeling aligned with the universe. Everything's going swimmingly. You're passively manifesting by putting yourself where the universe wants you to be, following your internal GPS system, right? But sound, not a problem at all. But now you've arrived at this place where you're like, I don't think I can do that. And if I do that, I might fuck it up. And even if I don't fuck it up, there may be things that fuck up around it. And then the net result is everything's fucked up and through no fault of my own. But now I've also closed off all my options. My options might have been to get the train, or my options might have been to take a fucking horse. Do you see what I mean? It's like all of this is built up to be something else in your head. And it's not borne out by reality, but it's very difficult to tell you that because you've already stepped onto the spiral. You committed to the spiral rather than the decision. And now the longer the spiral goes on, the further away from making the decision you are. You notice here that the Magician's in reverse. That, I don't actually like that very much, Sagittarius, because, and I should tell you for why, because both of those cards there that are on the table are about manifestation, right? We've got active manifestation in the case of the Magician. It is the application of will to a situation that allows the Magician to manipulate reality. The Lover's card is a card of passive manifestation. Like I said, you just put yourself where the universe tells you to be and you are aligned. Everything's great. And although we do understand the Magician card to be, by and large, a good card of creating your own reality and whatnot, like you literally are creating your own reality right here, and you don't like what you've created, and now it feels gross. But what's worse is that the Magician, because he manipulates reality, sometimes, if badly aspected, can function very much like a devil, right? He's dealing in illusion rather than reality. And that it's almost like you're allowing yourself to be manipulated by your own, the worst parts of your brain, the bits that struggle with the idea that you might be enough, that you could do this journey and it would be absolutely sound even without the turn-by-turn navigation. It's like there's a loss of trust that you've paid attention to enough things on the way here while the turn-by-turn navigation was happening, such that you could then rely on that moving forwards. And now it becomes all about making the perfect decision, not just a decision, and then dealing with the consequences as they flow out. Do you see now why I giggled when the Fool came out? Because the Fool doesn't have turn-by-turn navigation. He just moves on perfect faith and perfect trust, which is the one thing you are not exhibiting right now, Sagittarius. Not by a long shot, right? And the South Node has really inflamed this to show you where it is. Because a lot of the devil does his best work when you can't see him. Best trick the devil ever pulled was convincing people he didn't exist, right? That's, I can't remember the name of the film. There's something, The Usual Suspects, there you go, Kaiser Soze. Anyway, it's showing you where the doubt is. It's showing you where the lack of self-belief is. And this is why the Ace of Cups is at the bottom here, because it's not pulling open a hole and saying, look at all the crap down there, Sagittarius, you're not nearly as good as you think you are. Because, I mean, this is the message that the devil is trying to give you right now. It's just showing you where there is a script that is running. And the question that I would ask you is, why right now? What is it about right now that is causing, that has allowed the devil to do so much psychic siphoning as he's doing right now? What is it that is running underneath all of this? Because it's nothing to do with a perfect decision. Yes, of course it is a fear of being trapped, although you've actually kind of accidentally walked into that one anyway. What is the underlying mechanism that has triggered this spiral? And why has it left you feeling so compromised in terms of your ability to be a fool and wander through and be absolutely fine. Be protected. Could it be that you've made contact with something that really matters? I don't know. That feels like it would be enough to trigger this kind of thinking, right? If you, an awareness that something matters and you feel like it really, really matters. Here's the point where the foundation blocks are being built for the potential for this kind of situation here. Because if you misinterpret that as, oh my God, all of the responsibility is on me now, because this really, really matters, and you start to see it that way and that way alone, it turns a journey that should have been easily navigable for you into something that is fraught with the potential of you letting people down, yourself down, people who were looking to you to make decisions down. I could see that being the mechanism. Let's have a look and see what the cards have to say about what it is that is ripe for a vision here for you, Sagittarius. Right, so we have the Page of Wands. Oh, darlings, I want to reach through the internet and give you a slap. Unfortunately, such technology doesn't actually exist now at this point, so I can't literally come through and physically aggress you, right? But I can verbally aggress you in a loving way, of course, as you would expect from a lion, maybe. One of your unique selling points, Sagittarius, is that is your connection to the universal flow, right? You and Pisces, this is why you're considered to be blessed signs, right? Jupiter's favourites. But it's because you flow with the universal energy, right? And there's just that underlying awareness that everything will just work out, and it may not work out how you planned, but that's all right, because that's usually when the adventures happen, right? I don't know if this maybe links, yeah, I think it does. It links on to what we were talking about last season about not even being sure if your arrows were in the air or not, let alone where they were going to land and if you were going to be able to find them again once they did land. But this ability that you have to flow without expectation, to be in the moment, right? Knowing that you are to some extent protected and that you have the ability to get your way, to make the best out of any situation that you come across. Like that is a peak Sagittarius interpretation right there. But I do think that part of it is because you bring humour and you bring this kind of fuck it like fuck it sort of energy to everything that you do. Why? Because you trust that everything will work out, everything will be fine, and you'll have some adventures along the way. Right? It's pretty strong. And it radiates from you, right? Because it's a thing that is genuinely felt. And do you remember how we spoke? We spoke a little while ago now. I don't know if it was a year ago or 2 years ago or something like that. Well, I pointed out like there is an understanding of fire signs that is held by the rest of the zodiac, which suggests that they're kind of shallow, right? Because fire has this this energy of being able to go over the top of everything, right? To travel over the top of everything. It doesn't dig into something. That the rest of the zodiac looks at fire signs, and sometimes they can be a little bit dismissive. And when we were talking about this at the time, I pointed out to you, Sagittarius, that you had incredible depths. And that to some extent you appeared to be afraid of your own depths. Why? Because it's easier to kind of skid across the top of everything. But if you've got to really dig down into yourself, really dig down into things that are important and meaningful, not just in the moment when you're having a drunken conversation with a friend, but in terms of how you are actually taking responsibility for your life, that can be a bit intimidating. It doesn't stop the fact that it's there, though. And I do wonder if what's happened is you stepped out of the river of the flow of the universe for a second to dry yourself off and assess. And then, I don't know, like, maybe you just got like hit with a rock or something, right? You just fallen to the floor, and then you've got yourself up again, regained consciousness, and you're like, okay, well, I'm a land dweller, right? And you've just been wandering along on the banks of the river, going, this is where I need to find civilization. I know, follow the river, because people always build along the river, right? And it's a survival tip if you ever crash in the Amazon or anything like that, right? Just follow the river. But you've kind of forgotten the point that you're supposed to be in the fucking river, because it's like it's not even occurred to you because you've been busy thinking deep, catastrophic things. And this is when I want to reach through the internet to give you a slap. Saj, what are you doing? Stop it. This, like, literally, stop it. Because this... One of the things I love about Sagittarius is you literally drop everything for a fucking, like, for a mission. We're going on a mission, mint. Road trip, mint. Right, it just, you're so in the moment, you will literally drop everything to go do something very, very cool. Weirdly enough, it's a trait that Bulgarian men share as well. They love nothing than a fucking spontaneous mission. And they think nothing of driving like 6 hours that way to go look at a truffle dog or a larder or something like that, right? It's cool as fuck. And that's normally you. But it's not you at the moment. Right? What's ripe for revision for you is less about upgrading your thinking or, I don't know, fucking testing your belief system and your worldview and all that thing. It's actually something that you could make an argument for being actually what's required is a bit of regression. Right? Because the energy of the Fool and the energy of the Page of Wands is like, fucking mint, we're about to go on an adventure. No expectation, no destination, no idea what we're going to see along the way. No catastrophization. No hyperfixating on all the details of the thing, just like, fuck, mint, let's go have an adventure. And he's on his side. It's like you've forgotten who the fuck you are, Sagittarius. And so the Fool is here because he's here not just once but fucking twice, Sag. Because he's kind of like, Sag, can you remember? You're supposed to just float along the river, my friend. Like, let's get in the river, get in the flow of the universe, trust, have faith. Don't worry about it. Certainly don't spiral about it. The regressive state for you is that almost foolish, innocent naivete about, whatever happens, it'll be cool, we'll be fine. But that doesn't come from nowhere. Like, you've got a whole lifetime of information to lean on to tell you that that is true. The only thing that you need to do to really step up is be a little bit more discerning about what pieces of information, excuse me, you allow your mind to latch onto, because it has latched and it's been hit with a rock and now it's fucking crumpled, stood up again. Oh God, where am I? Right, like now I need to do responsible, dutiful things. But then you're tweaking out that you don't have a map, and you're tweaking out that you don't have a compass, and maybe you're tweaking out that you don't have a car, even in the Amazon, right? You're like, fuck me, I'm going to have to do it on foot. And it's like you're just standing still, saying, if I don't move, I can't make a bad decision. It's time for the balance to be restored, my friend. What's the next step? The next step is the Two of Pentacles. Okie dokie. With the World. And the Four of Wands on its side. Two of Wands is at the bottom of the deck. What I like about this is the implication that the Ace of Wands has been here somewhere. No, I don't know where it is exactly. But this Two of Pentacles is... the next step is to realise, A, in the first instance, that you're getting a little bit hyper-fixated. And we need to bring some balance in. We saw that with the Six of Pentacles. We're seeing it with the Two of Pentacles too. But the Two of Pentacles is more about the internal balance. Yes, we are all growing older and wiser and all that kind of thing. But it must always be balanced with what is childlike and wonderful about you, Sagittarius. Like your desire for adventure, your willingness to drop everything to go have a look. I mean, sometimes you can't drop everything, right? That's when we get to elder Sag territory, it's like, well, I do actually have duties and responsibilities and whatnot, and it's like, well, can you balance those though? It doesn't have to be all one thing, because when it does become all one thing in your own mind, you lose the lucky. I don't think you lose it. I think you just don't notice it anymore. You can't connect with it anymore, right? So the World card here is recognizing that we are drawing an end to a cycle which has Sagittarius in a hyper-fixated, serious state, actually trying to act more like a, I don't know, a fucking Capricorn than a Sagittarius. Right? There's something to be said for the happy-go-lucky here. Now, it is not at the expense of detail and those things that one must be responsible for and must take ownership of, but recognize that that is only half of the story. It's become the whole story. It's no good. Make it half the story and balance it out with a lot of that Jupiter way over here, and this is how you move forwards. The next step actually is realizing that whatever happens from this point on, it isn't, at least in this season and immediately from now, it is not about the construction of a new foundation from which you can bounce like Tigger if you want to. It's the preparation for the preparation that creates this. We've got to get through this first. It's kind of like a self-writing mechanism. That's what we're trying to employ here, Sagittarius. So that when things are difficult and things are hard, you don't lose your attachment to the flow. You don't lose your attachment to the universal river. You dip you jump out every now and again, but you've got to remember to jump back in. And I think this is what you forgot. The crossroads energy here is actually really interesting, because it says like you can choose to loop back to this. You can do that. I'm not going to stop you. I'm going to give you a slap already, obviously, aggress you through the video. You have your free will to do that if that's what you want to do, but you have to understand that that is in and of itself a conscious choice, and so you are consciously choosing now to be miserable. That doesn't really seem like a good idea. Or you can choose the other path, and the other path is balance your wisdom, balance your experience, balance all the things with a good, healthy dose of fuck it, it'll be right, and see where it takes you, you know? So, know thyself, Saggy. but also know that not everything that operates within thyself is actually real. Some of it is construct, some of it is programming, some of it is conditioning, some of it is internalized bullshit, and some of it is just like straight up illusion. Be discerning and learn to work out which is which. And don't let yourself let go of the Jupiter, you know? It's a force. He is a force. And you are an agent of that force. So, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to go and do the extended now. If you would like to join me over there, you're very welcome to do so. You can do that on Self-Eye, you can do that on Circle. I would be delighted to see you in either place. Other than that, know that I love you all very, very much. And I'll see you soon.